Mathematicians, welcome. We're talking about decimals today again. The main thing to remember with decimals is that tenths in fractions are tenths in decimals. So it looks kind of like this. 1/10 as a fraction is 0.1 as a decimal because the 0.1 is in the tenths place. That's the tenths place. How many tenths? 1. What about this one? How many tenths? 2. 2 goes in the tenths place. 2 tenths is 2 tenths. 2 tenths is 2 in tenths place. 0.2 is 2 tenths. We don't have 1. We've got less than 1. We've got more than 0. It's between 0 and 1. It's 2 tenths. 2 tenths. 2 tenths. 2 tenths. Same thing. 1/10, 1/10. 2 tenths, 2 tenths. So you could read that as 0.2, or you could just say 2 tenths. Any guesses on this one? 3 tenths? 3 tenths is going to be 0.3. It's in the tenth spot. 3 tenths is 3 tenths. Tenths are tenths. Same thing. That's the tenth spot. So it's like, oh, how many tenths do we have? We got 3 tenths. 0.3. 3 tenths. That's the big thing to remember. Tenths are tenths. So if you see something like this, tenths are used in measurement a lot because centimeters are tenths. The metric system is all tenths. That's why scientists and engineers love the metric system, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But right now we're just talking about tenths, measurement, tenths. So if you see this is like a magnification of a ruler. And if you see on your assignment something that looks like, hey, what is the measurement of the line? So say the line goes like this. Hey, what's the measurement of the line? Can you count how many tenths that is? The centimeter's been broken up into tenths, into 10 small pieces. How many are we talking about? Well, just count them up. Count up the chunks. Remember from fractions, counting the chunks? Let's see what we got. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tenths. So the answer is 7 tenths, or do you remember how to put 7 tenths in decimals? 0. What? Oh yeah, 0.7. 7 tenths is 7 in the tenth spot. And I wrote cm per centimeters because we're talking about centimeters. 7 tenths is 7 tenths. You can do that. But what if it goes past the 1? That's like a mixed number. What if it's like 1 and something in the middle? Let's find out. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it go to, how about, I'm just going to draw a line. We'll count it up later. Oh, there we go. Make it a little bigger. There we go. Can you tell me what's the measurement of that line? Can you see? Well, is it more than 1? Heck yeah, it's more than 1. Look at that. It goes way past the 1. Is it more than 2? Yeah, more than 2. How much more than 2? Is it more than 3? No. So it's between 2 and 3. So it's going to be 2 point something or other, right? It's at least 1. In fact, it's at least 2. But it's not 3. So it's 2 point something. So we need to count how many tenths there are after the 2. Let's count them up. It goes to the 2, then goes 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. So it's 2 and 3/10. I just counted them up. 1, 2, 3. 2 3/10 is what as a decimal? Two and 3/10 equals what as a decimal? It's going to be 2 point something, right? Well, you just put that 3 in the tenth spot. 2 and 3/10 as a fraction is 2 3/10 as a decimal. But it's going to look like this. 2 point what? 3, 2. Same with the 2 here. Oh, 3/10 as a decimal, just 3 in the tenth spot. 2 and 3/10 is 2.3, and I wrote that cm for centimeters. 2 and 3/10 is 2.3. 3/10, 3/10. 2, 2, 3/10, 3/10. 2 and 3/10 is 2 and 3/10, 2.3. Let's look at this bottom number. Right now we've got not just 1 filled up, not just 2, but I'm going to fill in a few of these tenths. So it's going to be 2 point something. Let's see how many I'm going to fill in. Anybody have a guess how many I'm going to fill in? If you guessed 1, you're correct. I just filled in 2 and 1/10. 2 and 1/10. 2 and 1/10. It's more than 2, but less than 3. It's 2 and 1/10. 2 and 1/10 as a fraction is going to be what as a decimal? Give you a sec to think about it. What's going to go in the tenth spot? Hint. 2 and 1/10 is going to be 2 point what? Two and 1/10 is going to be 2.1. Did you get that? 1 is in the tenth spot. That's the tenth spot. How many tenths do we have? Oh, we've got 1. We've got 2 and 1/10. 2 and 1 in the tenth spot. 2.1. So if you see something like this, and they say, how many, it's divided, they just tell you, hey, this is divided into 10 parts. Each part, so what if they say a kilogram, which is a way of measuring something, a kilogram is divided into 10 parts. Each part is equal, each part is how much of a kilogram? So it's in tenths. So a part, 1/10, they're saying, hey, it's in tenths. 1 part, which is 1/10, equals how much of a kilogram, if the whole thing is a kilogram? Well, a tenth is a tenth. They're just asking to put a tenth into decimals, which we know how to do that, right? It's 0 point what? Tenth spot. How many tenths do we have? 1. Got 1 right there. 1/10 is 1/10. And you can call that 0.1, but people just call it a tenth too. It's a tenth of a decimal. A tenth. 0.1. Tenth spot. Tenths. So then they say, oh, well, then you might have to go the other way. They're like, okay, well, 0 point... So what if you have 4 of these guys? And then they say 0.4 equals how many tenths? So they're like, well, check it out. Now we've got 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.4 kilograms is how many tenths? Well, hey, what's in the tenth spot? Is it in a 4? That's in the tenth spot, right? So it's just 4 tenths. Tenths are tenths. 0.4, 4 tenths. Tenths are tenths. If you're tenths in fractions, or tenths in decimals. What's in the tenth spot? 4. 4 tenths. 4 tenths. 0.4 is 4 tenths. Last thing I'm going to do, because we got to look at this too. they're really hooked on this measurement thing for the problems today. So you're going to see problems that look like this. This is supposed to be, has anybody ever seen like a beaker? They're called beakers, is what you measure stuff in science. So if you have like a beaker, which is like this little funny kind of glass measuring tool, it's called a beaker. But hey, if you have this much of this liquid, and then let's say it's like bright blue, some kind of chemical, like how much of this crazy chemical do we have? It'll give us all superpowers. Well, we've got at least one, right? We've got a whole beaker right there. That's 1 liter. A liter is the measurement in the metric system. That's 1 liter, but hey, we've got more than that. We don't have 2 full ones, do we? But we've got 1 full one, and then what? 'Cause they're talking a lot about mixed numbers in today's math. Well, we've got 1 point something, right? We've got 1 liter on this side. And over here, we've got, how many tenths do we have? 1, 2, 3 tenths. So 1 liter and 3 tenths, which is going to be 1 point what? Well, 1.3. Got 1 whole one, and then 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. 1 3 tenths is 1 3 in the tenth spot, 1.3 liters. You might see some measurement like this, where let's pretend like that's an apple. It's a pink lady apple. That's probably my favorite. How much does it weigh? Let's check it out. It's more than 1, but it's less than 2. So it's going to be 1 point something. They're all in tenths because metric system, everything's in tenths. It's going to be 1 point what? So just count how many chunks you have there. 1 point, looks like 2 to me. 1.2. 1 2 tenths, which is 1.2. 1 2 tenths, which is 1 2 in the tenth spot. What about this one over here? It's more than 3, isn't it? It's like it's like measuring something in the grocery store. You put a big old pineapple up there. Let's pretend like this is a pineapple. If I can remember what a pineapple looks like. Kind of stabby, and they got like the thing. Well, it's a heavy pineapple. It's going to cost me a lot of money. It's 1. It went all the way from the 1 past the 2 past the 3. It's going to be 3 point something. How many tenths do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that what you got? It's going to be 3.5 kilograms. 3.5. More than 3, less than 4. How much more than 3? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much more than 3? 5 tenths. 3.5. What's in the tenth spot? 5. 3.5. 3 5 tenths. 3.5. All right, guys. Today we're going to be doing pages 10, 11, and 12 in the math book 4B. You can do it.